How is Russian dictator Putin lying about his sharing of Ukraine, and why is Donald Trump reacting so weakly? This and other topics we will discuss right now. My name is Iryna Uzlova, and today with us is Michael Sheitelman, political strategist. Michael, hello, glad to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Iryna. Good evening, audience.
The Russian dictator spokesman Dmitry Peskov said during a briefing that Putin allegedly supports a ceasefire, but we didn't notice it. Putin supports the idea of ceasefire in Ukraine, but for this it is necessary to resolve a number of issues, told Peskov. These issues are hanging in the air while no one has given answers to them. This is due to the lack of control of the Kyiv regime and the inability of the Kyiv simply to do not be Kyiv. This is due to plans for the further militarization of Kyiv. All these nuances are still on the agenda. Peskov also claims that Russian troops are allegedly striking exclusively at military facilities. No strikes are being carried out on social facilities. He denied accusations from Ukraine of strikes on children in Kryvyi Rih. But these are shots by France 24 from a restaurant in Kryvyi Rih, which show us that there were no NATO instructors there, and no military facility, and no Ukrainian soldiers. So why and for what reason is Russia lying so brazenly?
Well, they bring new and new reasons for not stopping fighting, for spending the time on negotiation against the United States and Ukraine, mostly against the United States. And if you pay attention, so the new arguments from Mr. Peskov were really new, because when it started, when the first time Donald Trump brought the idea of the 30 days ceasefire, so then President Putin answered that, okay, we are agree, but we have a couple of conditions, and these conditions is to stop supplying weapons to Ukraine and something else I don't remember. Sorry, I don't remember now. And President Trump said that is not enough, that is not agreement. But now, what spokesman of Mr. Putin says, it is the more and more and more conditions. For example, what does it mean militarization of Ukraine? You should stop militarization of Ukraine. Obviously that we will continue militarization of Ukraine, and French and British delegation who were here in Kyiv just last week, they come to discuss the militarization of Ukraine for keeping the peace, keeping the ceasefire. That is first. Second is they started bring the conditions about the internal questions, internal issues of Ukraine. First of all, it was conditions regarding Russian Federation, but now it is internal conditions. Like Russians, they don't like Ukrainian authorities, so they want Ukrainian nation to change president, to change parliament, which is absolutely absurdist. Like I don't know, this is Kafkianian conditions. They want us to organize democratic election, and last time when in Russia there were any democratic election, it was exactly 25 years ago.
Yes.
When Putin come to the power, it was really a rather democratic election when not democratic, but 25 years ago, the last democratic election. And now they want from us to organize some election, and they believe that Ukrainian nation, Ukrainian people, they will not vote for Zelensky again. I don't see any reason not to vote for Zelensky again. I don't mean my private opinion. I mean the I mean the polls, social polls which were conducted in Ukraine, and now Mr. Zelensky have 69% in these polls. Comparing to 52% which he has at the beginning of this year, before the Mr. Trump attack against President Zelensky. So now President Zelensky is very popular, and obviously by all the polls, he is the leading candidate to the presidency, and he is now at this moment he is so leading candidate, so he could win election in one round. In the first round, he could have more than 50% of electoral votes.
And we see, as I understood, that all Peskov's statements and his words about conditions only demonstrate that Russia simply wants to continue the war and nothing more.
Yes, and President Trump very tries not to understand that and to ignore that fact that Mr. Putin just spent the time. President Trump said it, that I see that President Putin spent the time. And afterwards, somebody else from Marco Rubio. Last week it was Marco Rubio who said that Russians will just spend the time. Marco Rubio said it, by the way, after the meeting with Russian special envoy Kirill Dmitriev, who is the special envoy of President Putin. So Marco Rubio, State Secretary of United States, said, well, Russians, they just spent the time and they are not serious in this negotiation. So now in White House, they have all the facts that and all the evidence that Russia just spent the time. And it looks like the next move, all the Western world waits for the next move from President Trump, and next move should be the new sanctions against Russian Federation, because he promised that if Russia does not agree, so I will bring the new sanctions and very tough sanctions against Russian Federation.
I don't believe in such steps by President Trump, because yesterday, after his weekend in Mar-a-Lago, where he played golf and so on, and has his beautiful days, Trump told that he has seen the light. Yes, we are talking to Russia. I don't like the bombing. The bombing goes on, and thousands of young people are dying every week. We would like it to stop. Yes, Trump told about it and said that he doesn't like all this bombing. But maybe it's time not only to see really these facts and not only to say about it, but show some reaction, not weak, belated reaction, like it was about Putin's shelling on Kryvyi Rih, like it was by Bridget Brink, by USA in Ukraine. So what steps should Trump do?
I am not advisor of Mr. President Trump, so it is not fair to say what should he do. He is President of the United States. What I could do is just to remind his own promises. This is very different. Not I give an advice to US President from Kyiv, yeah? But I just remind, and this is like softly reminder, that Mr. President Trump, you promised that you will push the pressure on Ukraine and put the pressure on Russian Federation. And if Ukraine does not agree to go to the ceasefire, you will withdraw the American weapon from Ukraine. And you did it. You kept your promise. But you also said that you will push Mr. Putin about ceasefire, and if Mr. Putin and Russia does not agree for ceasefire, so you will put the new and destroy the sanctions against Russian Federation. And you also explained that, and you didn't promise that only once. You promised that in your social network 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago. You promised that just last week, a week ago, when you said if Russia just spent the time and we will put the secondary sanctions on each country who buys Russian oil. Mm-hmm. And we are just waiting for that. Not only us. I believe that also your voters wait for this. And I strongly believe that all your partners in the world, Canada, EU, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, everybody just waits for your promises, how you will work with your own promises, not mine, and not European promises. And I understand that now it is very difficult to say who is the ally of United States. All this situation with tariffs, draw the new map of the world, new economic map. But the question is, it also new political map of the world? Because we can't say today, is European Union a partner of United States or enemy of United States? We can't say, is Taiwan, for example, is it the partner of United States or not? So this is very difficult. But we could say that Russia is the partner now of United States, because only 3 countries in the world where they stay without any tariffs: Russian Federation, Iran, and North Korea.
Yeah.
Just 3 countries.
And Belarus. Too.
Belarus, sorry,
Yes,
Belarus. And at the beginning, they explained that in White House that there is no trade with Russian Federation because of sanctions. But afterwards, American journalists, they paid attention that there was a trade with Russian Federation, and the value of this trade is about $2 billion. And there is a deficit of, United States has a deficit against Russia. So absolutely logic where was to put the same tariff, like at least the same tariff like in other countries. And by this calculation of White House, it should be 25 or 30%, like with China. But they don't put it. And today, just this morning, White House gave the new explanation. The new explanation was, we didn't put the tariffs on Russian Federation because we have a negotiation between Russia and Ukraine. So we didn't put the tariffs. And in this case, we have a new question. But you put the tariffs on Ukraine. You said that negotiation is between Russia and Ukraine. And you don't put the tariffs on Russia, but you put the tariffs on Ukraine, 10%.
However, economic analysts and experts explain to me these days that Trump will not be able to control his economy and help Russia save itself at the same time. What do they mean? That as the proof of Trump's tariffs is that the price of oil has fallen to its lower levels in 4 years. So what Trump's tariffs war spares no one. Economic storm. Putin's press secretary Dmitry Peskov spoke about the fall in oil prices. The situation is restless, tense and emotionally overloaded, said Peskov, and added that the Russian Federation is closely monitoring the situation with the fall in oil prices. How can we assess this effect? It's really good.
Well, this is what President Trump wanted. He said that his idea is low prices for oil. And one of his first moves on the position of president, he asked Saudi Arabia and OPEC countries to increase the production of oil and to send the prices down. So now it is by the way his success what he did. If he wanted the low prices of oil, so it really worked. Today's price of Brent oil is $63 and WTI is $60, and this low price was last time in 2021. And by the way, Russian oil now has a price something like $53 per barrel, and in Russian budget, in the Russian national budget, they have a prognosis of 60-something, 67. So they now will have a huge financial deficit if the price of oil will stand on this level. So this is good news for us, for Ukraine, obviously, but this is also good news for White House and for President Trump. This is one of his promises he kept.
Yes. And it's rather bad news to Kremlin. What can we say about this reaction of Peskov, Putin's press secretary, and other people and economists around them? Because they understand that oil is one of the biggest sources to provide and prolong this cruel war.
Well, it is obviously bad news for Russian Federation, yeah, but this is not under their control, absolutely. The oil prices, this is not something which Kremlin somehow could influence. They could influence on Elon Musk, on President Trump maybe, on Ukraine, on trade in Black Sea, and on, by the way, on prices of agriculture production, yes. because agriculture production, Russia and Ukraine together, this is we have a big share of agriculture production in some grains, and our war is very, very important for the prices of grain, but not for the prices of oil, because Russia is not so big producer of oil. There is Saudi Arabia and OPEC and United States. United States, by the way, produce more oil than Russian Federation. So this is not under their control. This is like circumstances for them. And they just should, if they want, they should just survive with these currently circumstances.
And such statements that something or somebody are not under Russian control sound very good for us too. So how will Putin continue his bloody war without big money from oil? Where will he get the money? From the pockets of the Russians?
We are speaking now for too long-term, period. Because we are now only less than 1 week in this unprecedented turmoil. This is it started just in the middle of the last week, and we now only on the third day of this fall of all the shares, etc., and also all these new prognosis about the fall of general economy and world trade. And this problem of China, I mean that China also put the huge tariffs on American production. So we're just in the beginning of the way. And now to say, wow, Russians had a big problem for years. No, we don't have a problem for years now. We just should see and understand how long this is. It the new era of low prices of oil? This is one situation, and if it is just the, correction of couple of weeks, so this is another situation. Just today when we are speaking with you, there's different rumors from the White House. For example, the rumor that President Trump wants to stop these tariffs, all the tariffs except of the tariff of China, and to freeze it for 90 days. If it is reality, I don't know. I don't know is it reality.
No, Michael, I see the news in these minutes optionally that White House refuted and told that it's wrong rumors from White House.
But you know that the stock market, they believed in rumors, and they don't believe in the current claim of White House. So they believe in rumors that Mr. Trump will cancel the tariffs, and the shares, they went up. They were down by 6% just a couple of hours ago when they started the trade on Monday. And now we are just in an hour and a half in the trade of Monday, and the market shares, they are about zero, so they are not fallen now. And it says that they believe in rumors, and they don't believe in this claim of White House now.
Donald Trump has 2 days to postpone his decision about these tariffs. Maybe when he sees such picture and reaction, he will delay this decision or postpone for these 90 days, for example, except China. In that rumors, we see this moment, this country.
I don't know what I can't say anything because, Mr. Trump during these last days many times said that he never go back with his tariffs, and he will continue this policy. And he said that, the operation is finished, and surgery, like he was an analogy with surgery, that surgery is finished, and now our economy will go up and up, yeah? But we don't know what to... we can't predict the decisions of President Trump, obviously. We also saw the picture with Mexico and with Canada when he also put the sanctions, and afterwards he withdrew these sanctions. Not sanctions, but tariffs. So obviously he could do this way or this way. I don't know.
Yes, I agree, cannot predict his decisions. We even cannot predict consequences after such decisions. But sometimes we look for different scenarios and talk about it during our discussion. So China and US, China response to US tariffs, markets, China collapse too. Yuan falls, Financial Times wrote about it. China uses rare earths as weapons in trade war with Trump. Bloomberg reported about it. So, Michael, how do you think? Has the US-China trade war really begun? And is it gaining more serious?
Yeah, obviously, yes, because Mr. Trump, President Trump, he didn't predict this reaction of China. They wanted to put the trade tariffs on China, and their prediction was that China will start a negotiation. And they asked from China to start a negotiation, de facto. De facto, the Justice Ministry of United States, he said that, just don't put the tariffs against us. Yeah, I say all the sanctions because this is, de facto, this is sanctions, not tariffs.
Yes,
so we asked, not only from China, also from European Union and from other states, don't put your tariffs on our tariffs. Yeah, but China didn't hesitate. European Union hesitates and hesitates till now. And they said that we will put the first package of new tariffs in this week, and the next package only on the next month, in May. But China didn't hesitate, and at the same day, we just put the tariffs, at the same day like Americans. Americans didn't wait for that. So we don't know what to do now. Because Chinese, we say, okay, you have this and we have this. And President Xi today said to Chinese people that they should consume, to increase their consumptions inside China. So Chinese, they are ready to this war, absolutely ready to this war. And you can't move Chinese somehow, because, for example, in European Union, President Trump says, okay, you are in NATO, so we will not spend the money for your security, and Russia will bomb you, will bomb Germany and France and anything. And Russia will occupy Scandinavian countries and Baltic states if I don't help you. But President Trump can't say the same to Chinese. President Trump can say to Europeans, if you don't agree for our tariffs, I will occupy Greenland from Denmark. And we will start a war against Europe, if you want. But he can't say the same to China, because American army doesn't ready to have a war with China, obviously. So he has a real problem, because he did the first step, but he doesn't know now what is the next step of him.
Yes, unclear future and really big risks and problems. 79% of Republican Party supporters are against continuing to provide aid to Ukraine to protect it from the aggressor country Russia. What factors could have influenced this figure, and how negative is the figure for us? Can such sentiments change the position of the Donald Trump team? However, we have not seen any new aid packages from them anyway this time, and even discussions around it.
Well, it is bad news, but this is bad but not news, because this is bad situation, but this is not new situation. When we speak about Republicans in the United States and about this survey, it was survey, as far as I understand, between registered Republicans, not the people who voted Republican Party on last election, but registered Republicans, people who voted in caucuses, not on the general election. This is a huge difference. So the core of Republican Party, they obviously follow Trump. They obviously follow Trump position, and they are supporters of Mr. Trump personally, not of Republican ideas or Republican Party, but Mr. Trump. And President Trump openly said he don't want to supply any weapon to Ukraine. So they are just part of Trump idea and Trump policy and Trump politics. But when we make the more wider picture, if we will make the survey between people who voted for Republicans and people who voted for Democrats, so the picture will be a little bit different. I don't remember exact figures, but it is about 75% of voters who voted for Democratic Party, they want to continue support Ukraine, and something like 30% or 35% of people who voted for Republican Party, they want to continue to support Ukraine. So in the middle, when we took all the votes, so we have about 60% support for support Ukraine. And this last figure I took from the Telegraph British newspaper, from just today's article from Telegraph newspaper, 60-something% of support to continue support Ukraine.
Protests in the USA, we saw thousands of people in different, not only even USA states, but around the whole world, a big part of European countries, and new impeachment initiative about it for Donald Trump. But is his seat still not wobbling? Is he confident that everything is okay? Because for this weekend, Trump played golf and that's all, no reaction, no comments.
No, this is the situation. This is the same situation like I said about Russians and oil prices. Oil prices not under control of Russians. So presidency of Mr. Trump not under control of Ukrainians. Mr. Trump, President Trump is president of US people, US taxpayers, not our president. And they will do anything or not do anything to put him staying or removing him. But it doesn't look like American nation want to remove President Trump now. No, I don't believe. The general election were just in November. So he is just freshly elected president. And the people who voted for him, they voted for him, obviously. This is true. This is democratic states. So you can't say just 4 months over from this point that, oh, you know, they made a huge mistake. No, it doesn't work like that. I believe that President Trump, he has some couple of years before the potential serious threat to his authority. But couple of years he has, yeah.
Michael, thank you very much for this constructive discussion, for this conversation, and for your time and position. See you next week. Take care.
Thank you, Iryna. Bye.
Michael Sheitelman, political strategist. My name is Iryna Uzlova. Thank you guys for joining and viewing us. Please leave your comments and subscribe to our YouTube channels. Take care. See you later.